Today, we will see how we can design a 3-bit ALU. So there are three fundamental equations that we need to use for carrying look apart of our ALU. Now what I did is to took each of these equations and I just entered into the circuits analyzer. So for example, for C1 I did that here. It is very simple circuit. I probably didn't need to use the entire, but it was able to put in my inputs and output, and then I entire expression that I entered, and I didn't that for C1, C2, and C3, and I have three carriers because I have a 3-bit ALU, so I need to do these 3-bit area. So I'm going to need three carriers. The last part of the subcircuits needed for carry look is actual CLA adder. So here I just need to build this. I didn't see to need to use circuits analyzers, and then the final step for a part 2 is to write a 3-bit CLI, and then I do that when I was started by laying down my C1 subcircuits, C2 and C3. I know I am going to need all of these three CLO when I design it. Then next thing I did was it put down three of these carriers looking at my input pins. And then my input pins which are CN, A2, A1, A0 and the same along here for BS. And then I set my output pins where I connect to SPNs which connect to the circuits. Here is a connected, and I just did it in a very linear function. Now outputs for these CLAs goes to the inputs for these. So for example, this P on the first, this PI and P0 for the first carrier look 8. It is go to the terminal right here. This terminal it comes out and it finds into C1 and it is fed into C2 and it fed into the C3, and sum is true for G0. So that G0 terminal converts over here and we feed it into C1, C2 and C3, and then again for second CLA we have same things going on with P1 which gets fed directly into C2, and for G1 which ends up with C2 and C3, and again for P2 and G2. So that's pretty much always it is to the CLA. I guess that one thing I did mention was the outputs for the carriers need to go to the next stage. So for example, this right here is stage 1. So our carry is in going to stage 1. When we have our carry, that is result of this first stage, which C1 is result of first stage. The C1, the new CN, which is C1, needs to go to the next three carry and look ahead and connect to the CN pins. And then for the second stage, the results of the carry from C2 needs to go to the third stage. And finally C3, that third carriers, and we don't actually have anywhere to apply put it in, so we just put it right here and call it a day. So those are the fundamental points of designing a CLA.